We're in the middle of Local Enterprise Week. So we have over 200 events that have been organised by the 31 local enterprise offices across the country. And this event is our social enterprise event. And we think it's a great opportunity to mainstream social enterprise into our other enterprise events. This is also part of the European Social Economy regions. We got very good news yesterday. We applied to be part of the ESER for the third year, and we've been accepted. So this is the first event in a year of events that will participate in that European project. The objectives of the project are to build a network of social enterprises and social enterprise stakeholders, to encourage collaboration and to raise awareness about the social economy at regional and local level. So they're all things that align with our national social enterprise policy and are also all things that we will be doing collectively here this evening. We'll also get to hear this evening from academic research that's been carried out around social enterprise engagement, and we'll get to hear directly from social enterprise practitioners. We very much look forward to all of this evening's sections, and delighted to have so many people joining us. We'd also like to thank the Department of Rural and Community Development, who have co-funded the Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards, and we have Richard Gavin with us this evening from the department, and he'll participate in the panel discussion later on. We also will get to hear from Inner City Enterprise, who manage the Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards, and along with delivering the awards each year, they also put a lot of work into supporting and mentoring the social enterprises who won this award in previous years. And John Boyle of William Fry will also be participating in the panel discussion later, and William Fry do a lot of work in mentoring social enterprises along with Inner City Enterprise. So we'd like to ask for your help for this event as well. It's all about collaboration and participation. So any of you who are active on social media, we'd be delighted if you can give a shout out to the event or share news in relation to it. But we've got a few questions that we will be putting to you throughout the event as well. And if you could take a minute to answer those, that would just give us good feedback on who we have in the room and how we can continue to support you. At this time, Dublin is experiencing the negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're doing a lot of work to see how we can support the recovery of our communities and our economy, how we can become a more resilient city and see a brighter future. And that's why we are delighted to continue to support the social economy and social enterprises, because we really believe that this is a great moment for social enterprises to play an even stronger role in our recovery and in the future of our city. We got to do some good work with Grow Dublin 8 last year, and we have Ingrid McElroy of the New Children's Hospital, who'll also be participating in the panel discussion, who was one of the people who progressed that work. So there's a lot of really strong and encouraging signs for opportunities for the further development of social enterprise in the Dublin region. I'd also like to thank the staff who've worked on this evening's event, Norman, Anya, Melissa and Marlon, and they'll be supporting us throughout the evening. And also to give a thank you to the members of the Dublin City Social Enterprise Committee, and members of that committee oversee our year of support for social enterprise, and will also be playing a role in this evening's events. So the first question that we would like you to answer, well, two questions, is this the first event that you've attended as part of Local Enterprise Week 2021? And the second one then is just to give us an idea of whether you're a social enterprise, a support organisation, or just generally interested in social enterprises and the social economy. We've got very high voting, we're at 90%. So Norman, what way then does everyone see the results, or do you want to just explain that to us?
Yeah, so hi everybody, Norman here from the Economic Development team. Yeah, so we just wanted to find out a little bit about you guys and see who's attending the event. So I'm just going to end the polling now. So we'll make it, we'll give it a bit of suspense. So 5, 4, 3, 2 seconds left to vote, 1, and we're done. Okay, so now I'll just share the results with you so you can see. So hopefully it's coming up. You can see that 75% of people, this is your first event as part of Local Enterprise Week, so you're extra welcome. And we, of course, would encourage you to attend. There's still quite a few events left as part of the agenda during Local Enterprise Week. And all the details of Local Enterprise Week are on the Local Enterprise Dublin City website. And then the second thing, what's the most relevant statement? So we can see that most 50 or 45% of folks are from a social enterprise, and then it's a kind of a mix of people from support organizations. 15% are interested in starting a social enterprise, which we're delighted to hear, and we really hope that by the end of this event, you guys will feel much more supported and more interlinked with the great community of people that are at the event. And then you can see there's a few more people from the private and public sector. So thanks, guys. We'll have a couple more polls later on, but thanks for participating.
Thanks very much, Norman. One of the other ways that we work to support social enterprises is through a program called NFUSE. And it was Norman's idea to establish this program initially along with TU Dublin. So it's where we bring together master's students who work alongside businesses, both for-profit and not-for-profit, and in the commercial or the social enterprise space. But we've seen a number of social enterprises participate over previous years, and a lot of them have used it as a strategic planning process, and it's helped to keep their businesses more future looking and resilient. So that program is running again this year. So if it's one you haven't heard about, you'll find details on NFUSE if you Google it, and Norman or any of us would be happy to answer any questions you might have about it. So I'd now like to introduce Roshin Lyons, who's Assistant Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovation with DCU, and Roshin is going to introduce us to a group of students who've carried out research on social enterprise and community engagement. And Roshin will put some questions to the students, and we'll get to hear their insights from the research that they've conducted. Thank you, Roshin.
Great, thank you. Thanks everybody for the opportunity. Hi, I'm Roshin. I work in the entrepreneurship department in DCU with a focus on social enterprise. And, you know, one of the key stakeholders in the social enterprise space is our institutions. They help us with the research in this area, but also they connect us with students. Now, students should learn and connect with social enterprises because they'll be informed consumers, informed supporters, they'll be future graduates entering the workforce, and they might even be future social entrepreneurs. I firmly believe that you can't be what you can't see. Unless our students know about social enterprise and appreciate the complexity of social enterprise, they won't be champions of it when they go out and join the workforce. So as such, my whole ethos is to try and connect industry and students together as much as possible. And that can happen in many forms for social enterprises. It can be through guest appearances, hackathons, and client projects. So today I'm going to have a chat to you with some of our former students in DCU and talk to them about one such project where we connected them with an amazing client in the social enterprise space. And their role was to understand and explore the topic of community engagement in the social enterprise space. So I'm going to introduce you to our amazing graduates now and get them to briefly tell you a little bit about themselves. We'll start off with Muskan.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for the opportunity. I'm Muskan. I completed my undergraduate degree in English Honours from University of Delhi in India in 2019. The very same year, I moved to Dublin to pursue my master's in business management from DCU. Studying at DCU has been a highly valuable experience for me from all accounts of teaching, both personally and professionally. And I'm currently working as a research assistant at DCU.
Great, brilliant. Chris?
Hi, everyone. I did a BCom in UCD, what seems like a million years ago, and I decided a few years ago to go back and better myself and learn about the digital world and so on. So I joined DCU and did a master's in strategic management, finishing there in August, September. I got an awful lot more than I even bargained for, quite apart from my education. It was a phenomenal experience, and I got an awful lot more than I could even have imagined. I've been involved in many businesses myself over the years, and since leaving DCU, I've gone back to consulting for companies in the SME sector.
Brilliant. Thank you. Kavish?
Thanks, Roshin. Hello, everyone. I come from India, and I have done my bachelor's in computer science, and then I pursued my MBA in marketing in 2014. And then getting after 5 years of experience as a sales consultant, I came to Dublin to pursue my second master's in strategic management. I was with Chris, and that 1 year has been a complete roller coaster with a lot of education, a lot of updation. And I'm currently associated with DCU as a teaching assistant.
Excellent. Brilliant. Okay, so you and 2 others in your group chose to do a social enterprise project as your group thesis. Muskan, you were always interested in social enterprise. Is that why you chose it?
Absolutely. I've always been very passionate to work in this sector, as I believe it gives a massive exposure to channel your innovation and contribute something meaningful at the same time to society. Right from my school education up until my master's at DCU, I worked in organizations such as Enactus. I was the president there, in Rotaract, as well as in Head Start's DCU. So I've been very passionate about that.
Excellent, brilliant. And Chris, before you did this project, how familiar were you with social enterprise?
To my shame, I wasn't familiar at all. I didn't know anything about it really. So it was a kind of a doubly educational practicum for me. I found there were an awful lot of complexities in the social enterprise area over and above what would be in other businesses. And they have many unique challenges as a result of this complexity. And I must say there's been a huge learning for me, and I have huge respect now for social enterprises and what they do, because now I know what they do, and it isn't an easy job. And I have huge respect, I must say now. And it's something I'd like to learn more about as well.
Excellent, brilliant. So the project topic was looking at how to engage community with social enterprise. And to start the project off, Muskan, you read some academic literature, is that right?
Lots of it, to be honest. Like, I think coming from a literature background, it was easier to do. But then again, I mean, our literature review was essentially a critical review of all the literature around the concept of community engagement and its imperative importance for any social enterprise, to be honest. And we devised research questions and research objectives to form a comprehensive framework of and to explore these key themes surrounding these concepts. And we read around 200 peer-reviewed journal articles altogether, and various industry reports are the same. And yeah.
Were you surprised with how much research there was out there?
Massively. Like, I mean, found a plethora of diverse literature around, you know, social enterprise, community engagement, how social enterprises channel their community engagement, etc. So we were very, very, I think initially we were all over the place, but then we narrowed it down and finally we could make sense of it.
That's the normal academic path, don't worry. And then once you had explored the literature, you wanted to learn a little bit more about the context for social enterprise in Ireland and the industry around it. So Kavish, what did you do next?
As a natural next step, Roshin, you know, gaining the basics and understanding what those concepts meant from a literature perspective, we delved into understanding what is the current scenario of what has been recently going on in terms of social enterprise and community engagement in Ireland. And to begin with, we started with the Forfest report, which was published in 2013, titled Social Enterprises in Ireland. And that gave us a good push, understanding how they're functioning, how many types of social enterprises are there. Further on, then we conducted an in-depth pestle analysis to understand what are the political aspects, economic, social, technological, and how they affect it. And we came to a conclusion that it's not just about the funding or the taxes or the government support, but it's also about how's technology going to help them, how it can be an enabler, how you have to work ethically. GDPR is a big thing, and how you can go around working on your aims to make sure that you work within the guidelines as laid down by the government in Ireland.
Okay, So once you had done your reading and you had looked at the kind of industry, you needed to kind of do your own research, your own primary research. So Chris, how did you embark on that and what did you do?
Well, our original plan was to do vox pop, if you like, via questionnaires in the locality where our enterprise was. We had intended to maybe take a week and go to different locations at different times during the week and ask the same questions, and then analyze that data and get a real picture of, you know, the answers to all these questions, which were around social enterprise engagement. Now, obviously, when COVID came along, unfortunately, we weren't able to do any of that. So that kind of knocked that on the head, and that was our plan A.
And what was your plan B?
So our plan B then was, we decided we would do interviews instead. So we were very lucky to get 7 extremely generous people who gave us an hour average each of their time. These people worked in various areas. We had one person was a resident of their area for a lifetime. We had people from the chambers of commerce, from local councils, people who were consultants who worked in the SE area, and we also had researchers who had done a career working in social enterprise. So these people, you know, we were fortunate because they gave of themselves. They trusted us with their honest opinions and their experiences, and they went way beyond answering the questions that we had actually given. We found that they were passionate about social enterprise, and they really got into our questions and into our subject and really wanted to give us answers. So in reality, they probably gave us the backbone of all of our recommendations. Really, they all came really from these 7 semi-structured interviews.
Amazing, incredible insights there. And so from all of those pieces together, the academic, the industry, and the primary research that you did, you compiled some recommendations for your client then, Muskan.
We indeed did. I think our informed and actionable recommendations were based on these key findings from both our primary and secondary research. And to quickly highlight a few recommendations we felt for any social enterprise seeking to increase community engagement, we concluded that developing and implementing a community-based marketing strategy, applying the 4 Ps of marketing, forming a comprehensive timeline, and devising a clear budget can really add value to any social enterprise, you know, hoping to have the same view.
Yeah, so you created actionable insights and recommendations for the client on that basis, customized to them. Excellent. How long did all of this take, Kavish? What was the output?
I think it took about decades. No, well, actually, it took about 6 months. We started in February 2020, and we submitted our project in August 2020. But it involves so much, as Muskan has already highlighted. It, you know, we refer to about 208 resources. The report was in a total of 210 pages, and we engaged with each other, whether it was on campus and later online. There were about 56 meetings combining 111 hours that we put collaboratively, and, you know, the other hours that we put personally. So it was a long journey. It was hard work that we all put in, but in the end, it was a great result.
Yeah, excellent. And for the client themselves, you know, and for any client that's out there that's thinking, how can this add value to them? You know, if there's an area of your enterprise that you would like to get some research done on or explore a new market, perhaps social enterprises are quite constrained. You know, they're trying to deal with their own company in front of them. So if they wanted some additional bandwidth, maybe connecting with a student project of this type, you know, any institution can be of benefit. And, you know, from the kind of student perspective or the client perspective, Muskan, would you recommend something like this where you connect with social enterprise?
100%. I mean, I would highly recommend it because I feel that in addition to the crucial modules we studied during our masters, having an opportunity to directly deal and work with the client, I think just adds that extra level of value to discover one's own potential as a student. And at the same time, you know, have an insight into what it's like to apply all that academic knowledge that you're learning into the real world in a practical perspective. So highly recommended.
Yeah. How about you, Chris? What do you think?
I would recommend practicum to any social enterprise, really, because in any event, a fresh pair of eyes, or as in our case, 5 fresh pairs of eyes, that are curious and want to learn and are hungry and driven, it can be helpful, and it can offer different perspectives on different things. Now, some may be valid, some may not be, but overall, I believe it can be very useful. Now, this, of course, holds true for all businesses and all organizations, really, and not just social enterprises. So I would highly recommend it to anybody. I don't think there's anything to lose and all to gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add, thanks very much for your insights, guys, and well done on a great project. And thanks very much to your client as well. We're talking about a project that the students did in DCU, but I would say that institutions across Ireland are trying to connect with social enterprises to work on, client projects that are actionable for the students, but also add value for the enterprise as well. I know that Lucia here from TU is on the call. There's so many others that, would love to champion some of your social enterprises in our classes. And, if you need something done that you would like explored, connect with us and we can try and assist you in your goals. It's great for the students. It highlights the value of social enterprise. It makes our student body the champions of what you do. It makes them really appreciate the work that you put in growing your social enterprise and scaling your social enterprises. So this is just a little taster of what that would look like, what the process would look like for you. And please do get involved, reach out to me. And if DCU isn't the place for you, I will relay your information to the location near you, to the institution near you. There's plenty of us out there that want to support you in the academic sense. So thanks very much from the four of us, and back over to the organisers.
Thanks very much, Roshin, and to the students. It's really great to hear your experience, and I'm sure there's some people here this evening who'd be very happy to explore a similar opportunity for their organisation, because we don't always get that chance to reflect and to have a fresh set of eyes and an academic rigour brought to examining an issue and suggestions for a better way forward. So we're now going to move on to our panel discussion that looks at well, sorry, before that, we have our second poll. Apologies. We have a question that we'd like answered on whether social enterprises struggle to engage effectively with stakeholders, with customers, communities, and service users. So Norman, I think, is going to bring up our second question now. So I'd say that result is probably not going to vary, even if we get a few more votes in, but clearly, people recognise that this is an area that most social enterprises struggle with. And so it's great that we have the research findings from this particular initiative, and some of the recommendations here might also be relevant to other organisations. Thanks, Norman. So now I'd like to introduce Bernie Walsh. Bernie Walsh of Sunflower Recycling, and also a member of the Dublin City Social Enterprise Committee. And Bernie is going to chair a panel discussion on social enterprise engagement. And I'll hand over now to you, Bernie, and you might like to introduce the panel.
Thanks very much, Mary. Sorry, I didn't realise I was still on mute. Good evening, everybody. It's great to see so many people attended this evening. Touch of the deja vu's, but however, always the case with the social economy. Can I introduce first Stuart Fraser from Frontline Making Change, Richard Gavin from the Department of Rural and the Gaeltacht, Rural Community the Gaeltacht, John Boyle from William Fry. Delighted to see John here, been doing some work through Inner City Enterprise with William Fry, with some of my team. Great work. Ingrid McElroy, National Children's Hospital. I think we're a very diverse group. I hope you're all in the mood for a good chat now. After all this. So our first question to look at, is it difficult for social enterprises to engage with stakeholders? How difficult would you feel that would be? Maybe Richard, you might like to open it, would you?
Yeah, no problem at all, Bernie. And first of all, good evening, everybody. It's great to see great attendance here. My name is Richard Gavin from the Department of Rural and Community Development. We have responsibility for government policy on social enterprise. We launched the policy the year before last, and there's three main objectives in it: to increase awareness of social enterprise, to strengthen social enterprise, and to align social enterprise with other government policies, including European and international policies. But anyway, Bernie, I'll go back to your question about the difficulties with engaging stakeholders. I think in fairness, you could say every organization has difficulties engaging with stakeholders. And for social enterprises, I think it's actually, it would be actually more difficult because first of all, a social enterprise would have many more stakeholders. And it's not simply just a business set up to make profits. It's serving a community, be that it could be travelers, a health area, the circular economy. So there's an added, I suppose, pressure on social enterprises to engage. And I think the first step with engaging and overcoming the difficulty is to, I suppose, to need to, first of all, identify the stakeholders and to understand their needs. So I suppose you're kind of building a web of connection with all the relevant stakeholders. So definitely, back to your question, it is a lot more difficult, I think, for social enterprises to engage.
Yeah. Can I just say, if on the link want to come in, to just through reactions, put up your hand if you want to answer as well. I'll go straight to you first, Stuart. How would you feel?
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Hi, everybody. Yeah, great to see such a good attendance tonight. It's brilliant. I don't know. Yeah, Frontline Make Change. You know, we're predominantly an addiction service. Our social mission is to help people recover from addiction issues, and through that, one of the big sticking points we found was actually giving people employment. We could do really good work, do all the hard work of getting them through their addiction treatment. But when it actually came to re-engaging with employment, it was a big sticking point there. So that's why we set up Frontline Bikes. And I think in that process, like, I think for the last 2 years, all I've done is engage with stakeholders. So I'm not really sure if I really found, you know, having much problem, because I think it was so important to work the sector and work the room wherever you went. You know, I want you to tell everybody about the story, what we're doing. I want you to tell people about the social challenges we faced. And through that storytelling and that networking and engagement, through funding applications to grant applications, to get the local community, you know, to test out the market as well. So I didn't really have that problem. So yeah, I've just been talking to everybody for the last 2 years. So, but it's vitally important, yeah, when you're trying to look at business design.
Maybe John, how would you feel about it coming from your area? Would you have seen people coming in as part of the social economy, their level of engagement?
Yeah, well, I might start with what something Chris said early on as he was introducing himself in the previous session. You know, he highlighted how little he knew himself about it initially coming in. And actually that would be really representative of a lot of the corporate sector. You know, their understanding of social enterprise is very, very skewed, you know, very narrow cast. And, you know, it's improving, the awareness is improving significantly over time. And I think at the moment, I think we're at a bit of a kind of a crossroads in society at the moment. And, you know, between COVID, Brexit and other influences, you know, and we're all trying to process ways that it's impacting on corporate life, community life, and indeed all of our personal lives. But the one big plus coming out of this is that there's a very strong light being shone on social inequality at the moment, and indeed on corporate and institutional responsibility and what they can do to make change in that. And if you look at anything that any corporate is putting out there in terms of shareholder messaging at the moment, investor messaging, it's about the need to improve in that area. So I would argue that the door is never more open, and they're never more open to being better educated about it, and they need to do more of it themselves, just as we have had to do, and we're far from finished yet. But, you know, if you can get that going, and to Richard's point about, you know, this thing about, you know, doing your homework with the target institution, no two presentations should ever be the same. Get behind the dynamic, find the right person. There's always a social intrapreneur in any decent business. And once you find that person, and keep going, like it was Muskan said, you know, she talked about the 4 Ps. Well, I would add one more P to that: persistence, because it's the only thing that really works in the end. And, you know, anybody that we partner, they have that quality in spades. And, you know, and I wouldn't underestimate the importance of it.
Thanks, Don. And that's actually leads right into yourself, Ingrid, from the National Children's Hospital. How would you feel that the dynamic is?
Well, in the New Children's Hospital, the area that I work in is dedicated to what's called community benefit and social value. How are we actually going to kind of harness the potential of the New Children's Hospital in Dublin 8 for the community in terms of jobs? And we actually, one of our themes is directly around engaging with local suppliers, including specifically social enterprises. And it has had its challenges from both sides. Firstly, in terms of, you know, there isn't that many opportunities in the very specialized area that we work in terms of healthcare and in terms of the construction side for social enterprises, because it's still quite a new sector in Ireland. But we are very proud that, you know, we did pioneer some very exciting reserve contracts for social enterprises. Including for the office cleaning and catering with an enterprise there in Fatima, and also worked on bespoke picture frames for the Children's Hospital in Blanchardstown, which were made by Cordia and We Make Good. But it has been really difficult, and sometimes I liked your word, John, in terms of the social info something or other.
Oh, entrepreneur.
Thank you. And it's always worth making the contact, because it may be that the social enterprise will connect with me and there isn't any opportunities, but you're still going to be on my radar, and something may come down the line in 2 years' time, or equally I'm talking to somebody else who has a particular need and I say, oh yeah, you know, I know a social enterprise. So it is challenging and it is difficult and maybe scary for social enterprises to make that initial contact, but I think it's worth finding out who the person is to talk to, and even just having a nice cup of coffee, and if nothing happens, but we'll have a nice cup of coffee.
Okay, well, just from my own point of view, just put my own tuppence into it. I've always kind of found that social entrepreneurs within those businesses, they don't always have, you have a team of people around, but you're always troubleshooting, maybe because of the people you employ or the area in which you work. And sometimes gaining those new trusts and new customers is on top of your agenda, where it really needs to be. And the whole thing of persistence, as long as it doesn't turn to persecution. Because sometimes if you feel that there should be an opportunity, you're doing good things, you're doing the right work, so why aren't you getting the recognition? It really becomes a passion for you to make it understood. And sometimes I think, listening to y'all, you can see all the different ways people look at it, the different people coming from different genres, like seeing it in a different way. And probably me, because I came from community development, I would have seen it in a very community way, and almost the old charitable way, you know, you should be doing this thing because it's good, where we really should be saying you should be doing this thing because it's better value both for the state and socially for people, for our communities all around, you know. So end the rant, on to the next question. So the next one, can any of you share examples of how social enterprises successfully engaged? Well, I think you've already said so, Roshin, that there have been a couple of social economy projects who have engaged with yourselves. So does anybody else have any examples of social economy businesses who have engaged in a positive way?
I'm happy to give an example. Maybe like we work with ICE now for I suppose 2 years now. We're into our second year on Social Impact Plus, but we worked in before and working on the startup program. I think the way that has evolved over time, and Bernie, you've been very actively involved along with the van on this as well, you know, so you'll know firsthand what I'm talking about. But the key to that relationship build was actually to get to where we're coming from. And, you know, and we had to work hard to understand the totality of the offering, the proposition, and the, you know, the real values that were behind ICE's brand, really, you know. And like there's something we talk about, and I think it was our strategy session on the social impact program that we run at the moment. But we talked about the importance of any social enterprises really getting clear on what their purpose is, and you know, and really getting clear on what they do to achieve that purpose, because that's the thing that must sit in the room once they've left the premises after a meeting, or you know, a phone call or whatever. That's the thing that has to resonate, continuously resonate with the private enterprise. So as they're thinking down the road then about, okay, well, you know, how are we planning this year? We're not going to credibly do all this on our own. We need real partnerships, strategic partnerships. And I'm not talking about 6-month jobs, 12-month jobs. I'm talking about 3 to 5 year views. And we're going to have to plot out what can we work on together. So, you know, coming in with a pitch, this is what we do, this is what we propose doing for you. Can we have the funding? That generally doesn't work, because it's more about, you know, have the first session about building that understanding, and then, you know, working from there after, you know, what's the proposition that we're going to collectively build together. But it has to work. It has to work for the social enterprise, you know, first and foremost. And, you know, one thing I would guard against if I was advising social enterprise in any way was, don't go for, you know, a client that wants exclusivity, because, you know, that will hinder your progress and your ability to scale any assignment that you want to undertake. If you've only got one sponsor on board that's really looking at it from their needs, you know, look at it for a way that actually you can work together, and how you can bring others in as time goes on. We've worked with others like Parkit. We just started working now with Irish Youth Foundation and DePaul, and we've been working with Home Tree for a number of years as well. But, you know, they've all come at it from different angles. But ultimately, it's about that drive and persistence. And, you know, I would say no meeting is wasted time, because, you know, as long as you stay involved and you stay in touch with them, that's going to resonate at some point down the road. Sometimes it's a long tail. You won't get the results straight away. But ultimately, you'll hear something out of the blue. But it'll only happen because you had that initial conversation and you keep them in the picture, and they're clear on what your purpose is and how it fits theirs. That's the key thing.
Yeah, I think you make a lot of really good points there, John, you know, and I suppose coming from the other side of it, I mean, I went to a marketing company, and, you know, and I got a bit of an intro to a marketing company called New World down in Harold's Cross. And, you know, they're really good reputation. I kind of doorstepped them. I went in, I had a cup of coffee, I worked the room, and, you know, basically they've partnered with us, you know, and it's like you said, we became friends. You know, they're like, you're great, you're crazy, you're mad, we want to do work with you. This is really good stuff. And for them, it energized their private business, because they felt like they were getting involved in community, they were giving stuff back, they were giving expertise that I didn't have, you know, and they were becoming part of a story and a journey, and they came along on that journey with us, and it's been brilliant. And they're now really good mates. You know, I can pick up the phone and say, look, I need something really quick, and they do it for me. And, you know, apart from kind of initial consultation money, you know, they've now just waived all their fees and they just do things for free. You know what I mean? Which is always good for social enterprise. But it got their imagination and what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do. And in general, the private sector want to get involved in that sort of stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's chance your arm, work the room, ask for it all, and see what you get.
Great, thanks, Stuart. Can I just ask you, Ingrid, you were saying that you've already worked with some social entrepreneurs, and how successful that was. How exactly would those people have come to you, or how would they've all come and pitched?
In one case, they knew there was a need, and that this was a new business that they were setting up. But you know, they're a very local community organisation, and you know, we would know them. In the other case, say for example of the bespoke picture frames, we actually had to go out and contact social enterprises, which leads me on to a point that I do want to make, which is about how difficult as a buyer that is, because you know it means hours and hours of kind of Googling things and or ringing people or emailing them and saying, will they come back to me, you know, and can they do this? So there's 2 points out of that. One is, you know, I know there's an embryonic kind of directory being set up, I think, by Irish Social Enterprise Network. But the fact that you have to search so hard to find a social enterprise to approach.
Yeah.
And okay, so that's part of my job. But further down the line, I want to introduce clauses, for example, into some of our tenders, whereby, for example, in a service contract, maybe for doing the hospital cleaning, that they engage with social enterprises. So they need that work there for them, you know what I mean? And they need to make it, somebody needs to make it easy for them to find out, you know, where the social enterprises are. And the other thing I just wanted to say there was, you know, sometimes I'm approached by social enterprises and I say, that's really good. Have you got any material on it? Any photographs, a little bit of text, you know, that I can pass on to somebody else? And they go, no. And it is important to invest that time. And even, you know, it doesn't cost a lot of money just to download a photograph from your phone of your product and put it on a page, you know.
Yeah. And Richard, would you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to come in there, it was mentioned a few times about engaging with business, and while public procurement, and there's always opportunities there, and we're trying to improve that. But there's an untapped resource, I think, there on the private sector as regards support for social enterprise. And we're actually hoping to announce in the next week or so a partnership with Chambers Ireland. They have an annual awards. It's the Csr Awards. And we're going to sponsor a new category for partnership with social enterprise. So it's more or less encouraging businesses to enter into some sort of a partnership, be it including them in their supply chain, providing expertise or other assistance. So hopefully we'll be able to announce that in the next week or so. But that's just another example of, I suppose, other stakeholders that there's a good relationship there to be held, and it benefits both sides. So hopefully we'll get that rolled out fairly soon, and there'll be great further opportunities for engagement there.
I think as well, I mean, there are quite a few organisations like the Community Reuse Network, who I know are in attendance here this evening, who are a network of organisations of people who are all involved in reuse. And the Rediscovery Centre in Ballymun is another one that would have samples and examples of stuff that can be done, made. But they're only like part of the story. There are so many other groups and groups acting on their own, small enterprises. And I think probably that maybe one of the good things about the work that ICE have been doing and bringing in people like William Fry, that they can get those people right from the very start. And even things like tonight, the way people will engage in something like this, even if they go away with just a couple of things that stick in their heads about the way they sell their product or they sell themselves, it's a good thing, you know. I suppose, does anyone have any advice that they'd like to give to social entrepreneurs about engagement? I think, John, you've already said about how people should engage, when to engage. Does anybody have any pieces of wisdom?
Yeah, I would encourage an unstructured approach actually for the first meeting. Actually, that sounds mad and that sounds counterintuitive, but you know, sometimes when you want to find out more about an organization, how you can potentially align with them, you'll be amazed how it works. Because yeah, and I've seen this in the commercial world as well. When you go in with, you know, a 60-page slide book or something like that, they just don't want to know. Like, but if you want to find where they're coming from, and give them a better sense that actually you're starting to understand their business model, and you know where you can complement that and how you can work together on something for a joined up purpose and a joint up objective, you know, you'll be amazed how the difference in the conversation shifts over time. But if you find this right person on the inside, and like typically it's generally not going to be the CEO or the top person, by the way. They might be useful at opening doors or getting you an intro, but you need somebody that's going to continuously drive it, because there'll be internal obstacles as well that you won't even see. And their job is to make sure that you never see them, because once they believe in what you're about, you know, they will go to whatever end needs to be done on the inside, and they'll get the right support and the right engagement alongside. And you won't actually see an awful lot of that, but it happens. And, you know, I think if all the sort of good projects that have happened over the years, and I've worked in about 7 different companies. I'm 41 years working in the private sector. And, but I've seen really bad examples of it as well. And it's really where it doesn't work is where you don't have a champion on the inside, you know, and you're forced to do all of the work all of the time. And that's unsustainable. So, you know, it's about finding that person. And typically, you know, they may be involved in corporate responsibility, you know, running that program overall. They could actually be in the marketing area. They could be part of the business, and there'll be a number of these people in the larger organization. It's about getting them to work together. I think it's a bigger challenge for non-partnerships. So if you're a structured partnership and you go into a corporate entity, it's actually easier to get through some of the hoops, because the way they're structured is all about governance and you know, and some tax considerations around that. So, you know, if you're actually a partnership or set up as a partnership, it's actually easier sometimes to weave your way through that. When you're not, they kind of treat it more like a commercial sponsorship as opposed to, you know, a CSR partnership. So, you know, they have to work harder at that, and that's where you really get the benefit of the person on the inside driving that, because they'll know the hoops and how to get around some of the obstacles in that. But I couldn't underestimate the persistence piece. I've seen it every time. I've seen people that I haven't worked with in 6 years, and maybe in year 8 we're working together now, or I've referred them to somebody else, and I know that happens all over the place. So I wouldn't underestimate. There are no wasted conversations, believe me.
Any advice for people going in to sell their product or themselves? Or
Yeah, I think
to reiterate what John said there, I mean, persistence without, you know, nagging people to death is really important. And you generally find, as you know, Mary was saying right at the beginning of this program, even more so with the pandemic, people are really, really willing to buy local, to buy, you know, things which have a social value. And I think everybody's getting that now, you know. So I think you are pushing on a much more open door. So just give it a push, I think.
Yeah, and Kavish mentioned early on as well about technology. You know, that, you know, what he has learned in the program that he was doing was a lot of it is, it's not just about the funding, it's about, you know, how you can embrace technology to drive awareness around your social enterprise and overcome some of the hurdles that'll present as well. But, you know, at a time at the moment where you don't have a lot of direct face-to-face contact, you're initially going to rely on technology to get your name in there, you know, to get a conversation like this going. And, you know, upskill on social media, and, you know, get some of your own point of view out there, you know, that they can attach. And so when you do meet them, it's not a cold conversation. It's as if they've already established some sort of connection with you. So, you know, I would start, you know, using LinkedIn to make the connections with the different firms that you want to target, and, you know, start some dialogue with them to get things going. Because when we do open up again, you know, it'll make it a lot easier. But I think a lot can be achieved even in the format that we have now.
there was just one thing I wanted to ask myself. If people felt, I know it used to be the case very much years ago, and I'm not so much sure it's true today, but for many, many years, I think people saw the social economy as the second-class citizen, like the baby brother, or the ones who'd come and do it on the cheap. And I've always felt we add value because we're already doing other good things as well as producing whatever product or service you look for. We add value, so it should be paid more rather than less. But would people feel that that's still the case in some instances? That because they hear it's social economy, they see it as, oh, it's the community, it's people, you know, they'll come, they'll create the service cheaper. How would people feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's a real challenge, Bernie. You know what I mean? It's something that you know, the whole issue, right? We've got social mission, we add social value, but we're not here to come in cheaper. We're not here. The big problem we've got at the moment, and it's hopefully Siobhan Cafferty's doing some great work from probation department,
Yes, yeah.
and Richard's department, about talking in real terms about displacement. You know, now what happens with social enterprises? We have to go through all the same challenges as normal businesses go through. We also have to work with our social mission, so the people that we're trying to help and trying to get them up to speed, which, you know, is more challenging than just taking the cream of the crop and putting them into a private business. So we have that further challenge. And then when we apply for supports from the departments, then we get hit with displacement. And, you know, the amount of rigorous stress testing of your displacement policy is put under. And that all at a startup phase of a business is really, really difficult. And, you know, I think there needs to be a greater conversation at departmental level to put the displacement question to bed once and for all, you know, and I know that's in train, but I think that's really important because it's really hard. It's really hard to set up any business, but it's really hard to set up social enterprise and compete as well, you know. But the good story for us was, you know, I mean, we set up in a level 5 lockdown and opened the doors. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. But the good story is people, I think, now are making conscious decisions about how they spend their money. You know what I mean? And people, that is becoming more and more apparent, and that's why we were so successful. When we got on 6 News, we had to stop donations. We were getting swamped. We get overwhelmed by the response from the good Irish people. It was incredible. And I think more and more that is becoming a fact. And even I was talking to a corporate who wants to partner with us. And they said it is now becoming a question, and they picked the cream of the crop of new graduates. And it was now becoming a question for graduates in interview processes to say, what are you doing social? Because I've got 2 job offers in my back pocket. You're my 3rd interview. I want to see if you can beat what the 2 job offers are. I don't care about the money. I want to know what you're doing socially. So I think the conversation is really evolving in society about how we make cohesive communities, how we look after everybody, how we don't leave people behind, and how we look after our planet.
No, I couldn't agree more, Stuart. And that's what I meant earlier on by, you know, it is turning in terms of, you know, what corporate and, you know, institutions do generally. I think, you know, the whole aspect of responsible procurement as well, that's getting redefined all the time. And I think that will really work to your favor before very long, because I think what we have now is, I'll give you an example. Like, we would do a lot of tendering for business ourselves, you know, with clients, you know, public and private sector. And, you know, increasingly now you've got to fill out very detailed questionnaires about where are you on responsible procurement, where are you on other social issues, where are you when you talk about, like make it real here, you know. And I know private sector clients that will consciously discontinue working with suppliers that are not adhering to those standards. So, you know, I think this is definitely turning. And, you know, if anything, I think the responsible procurement thing probably needs to ramp up even further a little bit, because we didn't really talk this evening about, you know, disciplined tendering process and all that. And there is that to social enterprise as well. And, you know, a lot of the program that we talked about on our social impact program is about how we get better at some of these business mechanics so that we have a more level playing field. But I think there's a lot being done, but to Stuart's point, it is changing, and that door is going to become increasingly more open. So I think it's about persistence on that as well.
And just, Richard, do you think that will happen in government sector as well?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, the world is changing. It's not just the private sector, it's the public sector. It's not any longer looking for how to do things the cheapest way. It's all about sustainability now. Even people, somebody mentioned, ever trying to keep business local, support your local small enterprises. There's been a lot of change, even more so, I think, with the pandemic. But to relate it back to social enterprise as well, I think it's just a matter of social enterprise being able to tell a very simple story that'll tap into that new need, that new growing need that people want to be sustainable, green, inclusive. So I think that'll be my main message here, is to keep the story simple. But definitely the world has changed as regards the main priorities. It's no longer just looking for the cheapest opportunity out there.
Very good. Well, can I say, Sunflower was 25 years old last December, and I was one of the founder members and managed it all of them years. And I retired in August, and I'll only be too happy to be sitting here next year saying you were all right. Because it's taken that long. That's why I was like, I don't know, many processes we've been through over the years where we've nearly got there, and something happened, or something went wrong. But I think maybe this time that there are an awful lot more people, both in departments and in large business and in the state sector itself, and safe state-funded projects, who are willing to make that move, as long as they can trust that they're going to get the right service or the right, so I think that's brilliant. And do any of you have any questions you want to put out before we finish up? And they'll start bandying us for questions. Okay. None? All right. There you go.
Well, I'd really like to thank Bernie and all of our panelists. I think that was a fantastic discussion and a lot of great content covered there. And while you were talking, you were obviously inspiring the audience as well. We've had some great content shared on the chat function. And just to maybe point to one or two of the pieces when you were speaking there, Ingrid, about the challenge in finding the social enterprises and the directories. There was some nice commentary there about the bisocial.ie directory, and any of the social enterprises here this evening who aren't on it and want to join it, that hello@bisocial.ie is who you email for inclusion. So we'd like this evening to have a positive impact if anyone wants to follow up on that. And CRNI also mentioned a directory there as well. What we might try and do is just to gather up some of the useful links and information in the chat function and email it to people who've registered for the event, because there's a lot of content that has been covered there. Also great, Richard, to hear about the awards that would encourage corporates to work alongside and support social enterprises, which kind of leads on to our next part of the evening, which is talking about the Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards. And the next piece is to ask you all again, if you wouldn't mind completing the poll question, which is just trying to find out feedback for ourselves. And many of tonight's audience have heard about the Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards before this evening.
Okay, so nearly everybody has voted, so thanks very much for voting. I'm just going to stop it now. And
Thanks,
so
Norman.
you can see that, sorry, hopefully you can see now. Yeah, so almost 50-50. So 50% of people have heard and 50% haven't. So great then. You're in the right place. Those of you who haven't heard about it tonight found out, and those of you who have heard about it, hopefully you'll be inspired more about it and you can find out a little bit more.
Great, thanks very much, Norman. So I'd like to introduce Shane Meehan from Inner City Enterprise, who's now going to just give us a brief presentation about the awards, and hopefully some of the audience here tonight, it might be the right award for you to apply for. So we're looking forward to another great, strong group of applicants this year. So Shane, I'll hand over to you now.
Great, thanks, Mary. Thanks everybody for having me tonight. It's fantastic to be here with so many people interested in social enterprise. I'm Shane Meehan, I'm the Enterprise Development Manager with Inner City Enterprise, or ICE. In 2015, our CEO, Ivan Kilmurray, went to the local enterprise office in DCC and talked to them about social enterprise and how we can support them. And they came up with the Social Enterprise Awards. It was originally called the Inner City Enterprise Social Enterprise Awards, which was a bit of a mouthful, but thankfully we rebranded to the Dublin City Enterprise Awards. We created a committee of volunteers from different organizations to actually judge and work on the awards process. And they include some great organizations like the Carmichael Centre, St. Andrew's Resource Centre, DCU, amongst others. And it's been a fantastic success since then. We've had numerous applications each year, and the numbers just keep growing. And I think this year will probably be an exemplar year for applications. I suppose I'm here today just to talk a little bit about the process. I'm going to share a few slides about what you need to do and what you need to consider maybe when you're making the application for the award. And also just kind of a little bit about what happens once you do, if you are successful with the award, what else you benefit from this process as well. So I'm just going to share slides here. So as I said, the awards were set up in 2015. This year we have 50,000 of fund. We do a maximum grant of 15,000. So we can do 3, 4, 5. Some years we've done 6, depending on the amount that each social enterprise is looking for. The call is open. Now it's on our website. There's the link, and we can pass on that information in follow-up emails as well. If you go to our website, innercityenterprise.com, you find it very quickly there as well. The application process is very straightforward. There's an application form, there's a business plan that you need to complete, a tax clearance cert you need to provide. You need to confirm that you are a company limited by guarantee, a co-op, or in some circumstances we may look at if you're a company limited by shares but owned by a CLG or charity, we may look at that application as well. You need to provide some financial accounts and or projections depending on what stage social enterprise you are at. And the application needs to come to me. So my email address is there by the 30th of April. The application form itself is you know, it's big, but it's I suppose concise is what we're looking for. So each of the sections has a word count, so I wouldn't go over the word count. Keep your answers, you know, very succinct, but use use your language basically to explain exactly what you want to get across. State clearly the social return. So I mean, your social enterprise is divvied up between social return and income potential, so really highlight that in your application, and also just show a sustainability in your social enterprise. So how are you going to achieve results and maintain your social enterprise over the year. Clear details in the application as well about what the breakdown of funds will be used for. So just tell us exactly what you want it for, whether it's for equipment or to pay a staff member or something like that. And obviously this is a Dublin-based award, so the work has to be carried out in the Dublin city area. Just there are some of the amazing organisations that they're highlighted who have won previously the award, and I think some of them are on the call tonight. The business plan, you know, you can find numerous versions of business plans online, and we can all send you on some if needs be. There's some on the Leo website as well. Find a good business plan that works for you. I would suggest maybe not using an 80-page business plan because the committee probably won't thank you for that. Again, try and keep your answers nice and succinct, but you know, explain clearly what your social enterprise is looking to achieve. I think this is a good technique. You look at the why, who, what, where, and when. So why are you doing what you do? Maybe a bit about your background and where you came from. You know, who you're trying to support, who you're helping, what the actual social enterprise is going to do. So are you providing a product or service, where you're going to operate, and when you hope to become sustainable. If you have had some success, obviously we want to hear about that, so make sure you put that in there very clearly. And I suppose, just to be clear, we do support startup social enterprises and developing social enterprises, so you will be judged on at what stage you're at. Good financial information and realistic projections are key. There's no point in saying that you're going to make millions if you're a small startup social enterprise in year 3, because it's probably unlikely. So try to keep it very realistic. It's always good to see that you have competitors and you've considered that. And also, if you've had partners or you're working in collaboration with any other organizations, it's good to mention things like that in your application. Visual aids, I'm a visual person, so when it comes to things like this, I do like to see photographs and graphics. It's not for everyone, but I think they can be supportive of your application as well. The process basically, so it's open on our website now, and you can find it through the Leo and our partners as well. We normally review the applications in May or June. The shortlist then of applications will be invited in to present to the committee. Mary chairs the committee, and then we normally announce the awards in August or September. Some of the additional supports that come with the awards. So, and what I would say is, I think one of the key things as well is you're joining a family when you put an application in for the awards. It's a family of ICE, it's a family of DCC, Leo, and all of the support organizations that we work with. You've seen a few of them that we work with tonight. Bernie has worked with us over numerous years. William Fryer, one of our biggest supporters for social enterprise. And you know, just even applying for the award, you'll join that family. So I would recommend that if you're thinking about it, do stick an application in. We're open to looking at everything, and we want to keep growing the social enterprise sector that we have. Some of the additional supports include, like I said, you can come to any of our ICE training, it's all free. William Fry worked with us on a brilliant program supporting directly social enterprise through a series of training workshops, and they also offer mentoring, so they've done a lot of legal work with some of our social enterprises as well. And we have other partners as well. So one of our key programs that we ran recently in collaboration with some of the partnerships in Dublin, including Ballyfermot, Empower, Dublin South City, trying to think of the last one, Dublin Northwest and Northside Partnership. We've done the CCAP program over the last year to the whole way through COVID, and we've supported over 50 social enterprises on that program. So, you know, joining a family like that where you can network with other social enterprises and learn from them, as well as from, you know, professional mentors as well, is a great way to try and develop your social enterprise. And we also have access to other programs and obviously networking events as well. So, you know, you can come along to things like this and again, just grow your experience and build your network. So it's a great opportunity, I think. So that's all really I want to talk about today. That's my the website address and my email. So if you want to get an application in, and feel free to send me an email if you want any more information about the awards as well.
That's great. Thanks very much, Shane. And as Shane is saying, we'll send the link out to people afterwards. And it's great that the awards are open for applications. So now I'm just going to call on Richard Gavin from the Department of Rural and Community Development to just formally launch this year's awards and to pose for a Zoom photo so that we've got a record of it. Richard, if you'd like to join us. Is Richard still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Great.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, just on behalf of the Department of Rural and Community Development, we're delighted to support this continuous support for social enterprise. And well done to all at ICE for organising this over the last few years. It's a great help for social enterprise. And as far as I know, this is coming from the support is coming from the Dormant Accounts Fund. And it's another example of the Dormant Accounts Funds supporting many different initiatives for social enterprise. We announced one last week in relation to training and mentoring for social enterprise, and there'll be further announcements coming up later on in the year. But back to the season, we're delighted to announce the ICE Social Enterprise Awards for 2021.
Thanks very much, Richard. And you know, we've seen lots of fantastic applications coming in each year, and some great social enterprises who've been previous recipients of the award, and it's always great to see them going on to further success. So I think these awards play a special place for some of the early stage and developing social enterprises, as Shane was saying, and we'll be getting to hear directly from some of them later, and Ivan is going to have a chat with a few of the previous recipients. But just before that, we're going to play a video that will just give people a flavour of some of last year's winners. So Norman, you might play the video for us. Thank you.
It's a very special morning here. It's also very odd times. I know that normally these awards are held in very different environments and there's a good buzz around them.
My name is David Carroll and I'm a board member of Outhouse LGBT Community Centre here in Dublin.
My name is Jan Mcdonough and I'm the CEO of the Open Doors Initiative.
Hello, my name is Christian Pickert, founder and CEO of My Mind Centre for Mental Wellbeing.
My name is Kevin Mclaughlin and I'm the head of marketing and business development here at Recreate Ireland.
So my name is Aoife Smith. I am a co-founding member and a director of the Great Care Co-op.
My name is Shane Liz Anteloch. I am a co-founder of the Great Care Co-op. I am also the social enterprise development worker for the project.
And good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to congratulate the awardees this morning. You really are great examples of social enterprises that are operating with the main objective to improve people's lives. So it's great to see the good work that you're doing and keep up the good work.
It was about 6 years ago exactly when ICE and the Leo came together. And we saw that there was a need to really set up a grant system really that would kind of, I suppose, kickstart social enterprises in Dublin City because nobody had a handle on exactly how many of them were actually out there. And we wanted to just give them a leg up.
We've been running a series of live workshops and lately we've been doing these by webinar by necessity. But the focus of these workshops are on many of the practical elements of managing and growing social enterprises.
So thank you to each of this year's award winners. I know normally we'd have a huge round of applause for you all. I don't know what the equivalent is on Zoom, but I can feel from what's coming through on the chats you have the support of everybody in the session today, and we all wish you every success, and we're delighted to hear about your progress and keep sharing the stories.
As social enterprise takes roots and grown, we are going to see a much stronger social enterprise network in Ireland. Congratulations again to the grant awardees, and a big thank you to Mary and the team in TCC, to Ivan and Shane and Ice and their fantastic works, and to my fellow members on the Social Grants Committee, and wishing everybody every success, and thank you.
Great, so bring us back to remember last year's event. So as Shane was saying, we're looking forward to some more great applications this year. So now we're going to hear from 4 of the social enterprises that are previous recipients of the awards. And I'm delighted to introduce Ivan Kilmurray, who's been a driving force. And as Shane has explained, it all started with a conversation that she had with Greg Swift in what could be done. So you never know where conversations can take us. So delighted to hand over to Ivan to introduce the panel of social enterprises and previous recipients of the awards. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. And hello, evening all to everybody. And it's great to see you all here tonight, and especially to see as many old friends as well. Yeah, as Mary was saying, yeah, the Social Enterprise Grant Scheme Awards, it's really, yeah, it's now really a joint initiative now between ICE and Leo. And we've had 7 very good years, it has to be said. And I think we've all enjoyed being on the committee and really getting to grips ourselves with social enterprises and what they are. And I guess it was that wonderful legend, Bernie Walsh, who I suppose has probably taught us all a lot in terms of the fact that social enterprises, I think, are one of the best ways one can go. But they have their, you know, Bernie describes it as, you know, being tied with one hand behind your back, because they don't have the same advantages perhaps of all the private sector companies, but they have a huge amount more to offer just in terms of the whole social benefit and what they're doing out there for their communities. So, and we'll see this now with our 4 winners from last year. And there's Jan. Jan, you might maybe say hello and tell us what you do.
Hi, Ivan. My name is John Mcdonough, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Open Doors Initiative.
Great stuff.
Our purpose is to create employment and pathways to employment for people from marginalized backgrounds. And that encompasses everyone really who fits in those categories of difficulties getting into work. And it could be someone with a disability, it can be someone with a migrant background, it can be someone from a disadvantaged area. So it's a broad mix and it's a broad range of services.
Brilliant, thanks, Jan. And Christian, what about yourself? Not sure now if he's there or not. Kevin, you there?
Sorry, I was on the mute.
Oh.
I always forget about the mute button. So I'm really sorry about that.
No problem.
But thank you very much, Ivan, and hello, everyone. Yeah, sorry again about the mute. I have to keep in mind, even I have this red button to press it, but yeah, sometimes just forgetting. So hello, my name is Christian Fickert, and I'm CEO and founder of My Mind Center for Mental Wellbeing, and we are blended service. We're providing face-to-face and online counseling and psychotherapy services available to really everyone in Ireland, but we are predominantly based in Dublin. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then Aoife or Shane, are you there?
Hi, yeah, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Margaret Ayuma Oriang, who's going to speak if Margaret is there.
No problem.
Thanks, Ivan.
I think she might be on Zoom, is she? On mute?
Yeah, like me.
I didn't mute. So my name is
no problem.
My name is Margaret Oriang. I'm one of the co-founder and the director of Great Care Co-op. And I would like to thank Dublin City Council and the Inner City Enterprise for backing us, because it gave us a great push up, and we are able to employ 3 carers from that funding, and also for training and upgrading our work in the community, also to make better life for the community and the carers. So it has been a great thing for us, and it give us also the confidence, to push forward financial security, and everything is just so great that we are so blessed for having got the funding, the award.
That's fantastic, and it's actually a great example of where you can go with the social enterprise. And then just Kevin, last but not least, what about yourself?
Hi all. So my name's Kevin Mclaughlin. I'm the head of marketing and business development at Recreate. And so what we do, we try to foster curiosity and creativity and social inclusion. And we do all of this through a process, I suppose, called creative reuse, where we collect excess and unwanted materials from businesses and companies around Ireland, and we make them available then for schools, community groups, creches, individuals, families, for their projects then throughout the year, where they can kind of be curious about the materials, where they came from in a past life, what their new life can be, and get creative with them then for their projects throughout the year.
Fantastic, Kevin. Thanks a million. So, I mean, just looking back, it's been probably one of the most difficult years in a way for award winners, given the fact that we're still in COVID. We started in COVID and we're still there. I think when we were on this time last year online at this event, we all thought we'd be well out of here by now, but c'est la vie, we're still where we are. So just to encourage everybody else now to apply, I guess, what has winning meant to you all? I mean, what did it mean to actually win an award? So just jump in there yourselves. I mean, what?
Yeah, for me, I suppose this time last year, I just started a new role in Recreate, where I was given a lot more responsibility, and the ICE application was the first application that I put in on behalf of the company. It was very difficult as well. I mean, look, like last April, this time last year, we had no idea what was going on. what was going to be the way as well. So, you know, to be awarded like it's such a competitive award, and was really, really, really great. Being able to kind of, you know, pivot a business and think what will work going forward, and then to get that kind of reward and to get the kind of, I suppose, notoriety that yes, this is a great idea and this will work, was really, really good for us and really kind of meant a lot to me personally. And then again, just for the team as well. I mean, for our staff, like we worked so hard throughout last year. We still are. We've had to totally pivot our business within Recreate. Everybody put in such a good shift last year, and then to be able to, you know, celebrate an award like this at the end of last year was just a really, really nice way to top off the year, and you know, say well done to everybody at Recreate for the hard work that they put in. And I'm sure everybody here is no different.
Absolutely. And Jan, what about yourself? What did it?
Well, we had a great start. We started on the first day of the first lockdown as a standalone, so that was really ace timing. So after an hour or so of holding my head in my hands, we got on with it, and it's been brilliant. It was our first award. It was the first recognition of the work we had done. It's opened doors to us. It's introduced us to new people. I don't think I've ever talked so much in 1 year as I have this year, and been online so much. And despite the difficulties, obviously a lot of our programs had to stop because they were face-to-face. But we've managed to jump online, get our courses online, get our training online. And we've actually grown, which sort of at the start we were going, oh, well, maybe we'll just, you know, plateau. But we've grown. We now have 95 organizations that we work with. So that was a real turning point. So we're really grateful for it. It gave us sort of the shot in the arm, and I'm holding out for another shot in my arm. But it really gave us an impetus to say, yeah, we're on the right track, and we're doing something right.
Brilliant. And Christian, what about yourself?
Yeah, no, it was, I can only echo what Kevin and Jane mentioned. Like for us, it's always very gratifying, of course, to win an award, but especially this award from Dublin City Council was very, Dublin City Social Enterprise Awards was really, really special for us, because it really kind of gave us this recognition of the work in Dublin. We have three physical locations in Dublin, and as Kevin mentioned, it was very competitive process. So we are very, very thrilled that we could be selected along the one of the other social enterprises like the Old House, Open Doors, the Great Care, Recreate, and it was definitely very good recognition of for us, for our team, the work that we do. Definitely COVID-19 was very difficult. Well, it is still very, very difficult for everyone. But as Jane mentioned as well, we saw huge, enormous growth in terms of our services, and we actually engaged very, very successfully with the public health services as well. So that was 2019. 2020 was a great year in terms of the growth of our services. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then Aoife and Margaret, what about yourselves?
If are you taking, I take it. If you can, yeah.
Me? Okay, thanks. Well, for us, it was huge. I mean, we have come from 18 years campaigning, hardcore grassroots campaigning on the ground, out in the streets, literally with pickets, campaigning for better rights and visibility of migrant women working in care. And that's where the idea to set up the workers' cooperative at home care came from. So it was like an evolution. So to get the backing and the recognition after all the years of, you know, spending nights in the basement of MRCI on Dorset Street of planning and hashing it, to get that recognition and to actually get funding behind and belief there, it was everything to us. Like yourselves, Jean, we started on the start of lockdown last year as well. We got our first 5 clients and our first carers were going out, and then lockdown happened. So we had to completely pull back and reevaluate. We were sitting as a board, but how are we going to do this? So getting the award, even just having the award and having the logos on our like website and our flyers, it gives credential to you as well. Like when we're saying, you know, we've won an award. So it really has been a huge positive impact on the Great Care Co-op.
Super. And just while I have the two of you on there, so what did you actually end up using the award funding for? What did it go on in the end?
Margaret, you want to take that?
The one thing we used it to employ 3 workers, carers,
right,
with full 20 hours guarantee, employment contract with good pay, and also we use it for training and learning development from that funding. And the feedback has been great from the carers and from the clients too. So it's
fantastic.
It has done a lot for us, because with the COVID, and then we are just launched our new model. It's a new one. It's the first in Ireland.
Yeah.
Managed by carers and also for carers. So it's a great thing for us, really, because we were just taking off and we were just like a baby starting to walk, but we have made great strides, and we know that it's going to be very great for us, for the migrant rights, migrant women, you know.
Brilliant, absolutely.
Thanks for backing us, for giving us that lift to start, you know. It was great.
Oh, well, it's always a pleasure for all of us, because, you know, we see such great ideas coming up, and it's fantastic to be able to then provide a bit of support as well, and then see those ideas grow. And
now our mission is to give great care, and also for the carers and for the clients, you know. With that, our model is the first of its kind in Ireland. So it's a great thing. We look forward to that.
Brilliant. And Christian, what about yourself? What did you end up using it for?
Yeah, well, we had such a very nice idea to organize a kind of community-based type of workshops, but because of the restrictions, we had to postpone this. But still, we have the plan to instead of kind of community-based workshops, we're going to provide kind of a number of online workshops and webinars with the title "Minding Your Mental Well-Being." So I know that our head of communications, Grania, she's in touch and engaging with CORN in Dublin 8, a number of other organizations. Yeah. So definitely there will be a certain movement. We were hoping to have a kind of nicer way to deliver this type of workshops, but yeah, unfortunately that's probably not feasible for near future. So that's why we decided to just offer the online version of the workshops. Yeah.
Great. And then Jan, what about yourself?
I bought so many pairs of shoes you wouldn't believe. We have just launched Employers for Change, which is a hub for employers on all matters regarding disability. And it made us think, actually, something so directed and so focused on employers would be really good for the migrant community. So we used the money to fund a similar hub for the migrant community. We have to come up with a really snazzy name. So any ideas, please let me know. But basically it brings together employers and future employees, and it tells them everything they need to know about stamps, about permits, about social welfare, any information they need to get employed, and links them. So it allows people to go directly to future employees from any background, from any country, who's here and who's looking for work, and brings them together. So it's kind of dating agency for employment, and it's something we've been planning for a long time. And finally, we got the funding to start that project and get it off the ground. So we're delighted.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Jan. And finally, Kevin, what about Recreate?
Yeah, so we're working with 50 primary schools in and around Dublin City. So we started before Christmas. We have a little bit of catching up to do now, just as schools reopened, but we've given them 50 memberships to our warehouse for the year. And then we also will be delivering materials. So we've delivered materials before Christmas to 30 schools so far. And then we have made contact this week just about starting that back up as schools start to reopen. So hopefully by the end of March, we'll have everybody with a Recreate box materials in their schools ready to go. And then we will also be liaising with all the teachers in the schools around creative consultation sessions where we will invite them to come and learn tips and I suppose bits of inspiration from our creative team, but also probably more importantly to exchange tips and learn from each other in a kind of peer-to-peer session. So like that, like sessions like tonight where I suppose haven't been used previously, especially between teachers in a peer-to-peer kind of manner. That's something that we're really excited for. We've done it with a few early years groups last year. It worked really well, and we're excited about kind of looking at the primary sector now this year and really getting into that. So yeah, very exciting times. We've been just, we've been waiting to get going since Christmas on this project, and we started before Christmas. Then we kind of knew we would have a lockdown in January, so we're raring to go again. So we're really looking forward to everything getting back up and running.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Kevin. I mean, just I suppose a final word on, it has been the COVID year. So just, I suppose a word from everybody on how do you think things have gone for you generally? Do you think, it sounds to me like everybody has had growth, if you like, in the last year. Some people may have had to repivot, but there has been growth. Okay, maybe some, there's a bit of standstill perhaps with some, but there's always means and opportunities to plan ahead as well. So just Aoife and Margaret, just in terms of what would you say in the last year? I suppose lessons learned perhaps in the last year.
Yeah, huge lessons learned, and probably more accelerated than they might have been in other kind of environments. So, which was great. Obviously having to shift onto online and to do trainings, inductions. Normally we're a community development side. There's a community development side to our model as well. So it was very much out in the community, doing clinics with the local guards, taking answers from older people about what they needed. So we had to rethink about all of that, doing a lot of work on now focusing on our online marketing strategy and how to reach the right customer segments. But also we've had a bit of a staff turnover as well, but there's huge opportunity as well for us. The spotlight has been put on care and the conditions that carers work under, and the need to really invest in care and for care to be offered locally in the community, which is exactly what we're doing. So we're in the position that we're somewhat ahead of the curve, that we operate in small local teams. We fully invest in carers, and we know that great quality jobs and great quality care are both interlinked. So definitely feel like the end of this year we'd be able to scale up to another 2 hubs, employing up to 24 carers and reaching up to 60 clients with the model. So yeah, we're very hopeful.
Super, that's brilliant. And Jan, what about yourself?
I think the last year has taught me the importance of connections and reaching out to people, both on a personal level, because I know a lot of people have had a really hard time, and then on the plus side, on sort of our organization's level, we've got access to people we wouldn't have got access to before, or we would have been traveling across the country to meet them, and now you just flick a switch. So it's been huge learnings in that sense, and it can sometimes be difficult to connect online, and even just learning those skills and how to engage with people and sort of hone your sales pitch and get people on board. So it's been a real uphill learning, but it's been brilliant.
Great, yeah. And then Kevin.
Yeah, it's been hard, it's been like, there's no sugarcoating it, but I mean, as the guys mentioned, that we've pivoted our business, but now we have, you know, when things do get back to normal, and they will, we've got a whole new set of products, and we've got a whole new part of the business that we didn't previously have that isn't going to go anywhere. It's new, and it's going to grow. So I mean, we've brought in delivery, we've brought in you know, online facilitation, things that, you know, previously probably wouldn't have been seen as any use, because they go, it has to be hands-on or it has to be face-to-face. No, it doesn't. And there's great benefits in kind of different kind of types of sessions, different types of workshops. I mean, we have started curious coffee mornings on a Monday morning, where people just get together and they just want to chat, and they just want to talk about their creative projects going on, and what it be it in the garden or be it a bit of knitting at the weekend. It doesn't matter. It's just about getting together. It's about being inclusive. It's about having a chat, and it's about, you know, just being friendly. And we have delivery. I mean, like we're creating little products within. So I mean, we're launching the St. Patrick's Day delivery, where it's Don't Rain in My Parade box, where we'll deliver a box of materials to families across Ireland, and they can have their own little St. Patrick's Day at home. You know, these are things that we didn't have before, but we will certainly have going forward. So listen, silver linings, and looking on the positive side. And yeah, listen, it's been challenging, but it's been fun, and it's been a real learning experience. And you know, we'll all be for the better of it after, or by the end of this year.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Kevin. So there you are, folks. That's about it from me and our wonderful awardees. And I hope it just gives everybody else who maybe hasn't applied yet just an idea of the variety of ideas that are out there, and the range of things that you can also utilize the funding for. It's endless, and yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year ahead. I think one of the biggest things is really the uncertainty, because we don't know where we're going to be in the future. But we do know one thing: social enterprise is here to stay. And yeah, I think the thing is, take the opportunity now to really just think about things and see what you might be able to produce for your community. So Mary, back over to yourself. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Yvonne, and thanks to all the panelists. Some great discussions there, and I'm delighted we're recording the session, because I think there's just so much rich content. I certainly, for one, want to watch it back again. So I hope everyone has got at least one good idea, and just thanks to all of you who've been giving great ideas and sharing lots of information on the chat function as well. And so we're now coming to our shout out part of the evening, coming towards the end of the session. But this was an idea we stole from Chris Gordon, who's a member of the Social Enterprise Committee, and he's with Social Enterprise Network. And Derek O'Brien, another member of the committee, is going to lead us in the shout out session. So I'll just hand over to you now, Derek.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Hi, guys. I suppose just to be conscious that, you know, I think this is the last slot before we wrap up, so no pressure. So look, as Mary said, so the ecosystem shout out, it's really about a very short, you know, 2 to 3 minutes introduction to yourself, your organization, to shout out. So something, you know, where you highlight or explain a brief support or resource or an event or an initiative. So we've a small number of people lined up to sort of kickstart it, and then we can open up to the floor, and we'll aim to get it wrapped by 8:30. So in terms of I was going to call them the victims, the volunteers who've agreed to come forward first. So if I can, is Hayley here? Hayley Kilgallen?
Yes. Hi, Derek.
Hi, Hayley. Are you okay to sort of kick us off with your shout out?
Absolutely. Thanks a million. Well done on a fantastic event. It was so interesting. So hi, everyone. My name is Hayley, and I am with Social Entrepreneurs Ireland. So for anyone who doesn't know Social Entrepreneurs Ireland, we are a non-profit organisation whose mission is to find people with solutions to social problems and support them on every step of the journey. And we do that through a number of training programs, through funding, and through our community of alumni, some of whom are on the call this evening, My Mind and Recreate, through our funders and through sector leaders. So right now we are looking for applications for our programs, the Ideas Academy and the Impact Programme. So really we're looking for people who have a unique insight into a social problem, who who have an innovative idea to solve it and who have that passion to drive it forward. So I'm sure there's many people on the call who are just like that. The Ideas Academy is for people who are looking to take the first step. So at this stage, your idea does not have to be perfect. We're just looking for people who are in that early stages of development and they're looking to move from idea to action. And the impact program is for people who are already up and running. They might have some evidence of impact and they're looking to grow their impact, in their communities or across the country. So both programs offer a variety of training and supports dependent on the stage. There is an opportunity to apply for funding for the Ideas Academy at the end of the program. So it's a 3-month program and we will run 4 groups across the country, 2 in the east, 1 in the west and 1 in the south. And the impact program is a 9-month accelerator and we'll select 5 projects for that. And there is €20,000 in direct funding on that program for each project selected. You can find out more information about both on our website, socialentrepreneurs.ie, and we'll also be holding an event on the 11th of March, the Spark session. So if anyone would like to hear more information about our programs or about the application process, you can attend that event and you'll hear more then. But again, the information for that is on our website and on our social media channels. So I think that's me wrapped up in 2 minutes. I hope that was clear and hopefully we'll see some applications in from some of you here tonight.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Hayley. And I guess if we can, people want to use the chat function, they can probably send some questions to you as well. So look, maybe we'll open up to our next speaker. So Leila, you're here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for an amazing evening. My name is Leila Karaha, founder of Your Wine Network. We are a global community of social entrepreneurs and change makers. We organize networking events monthly, and our aim is to promote amazing work different social entrepreneurs around the world are doing, and to also raise awareness of social entrepreneurship. And our upcoming event is on the 23rd of March on the theme of impact investors. I'll share the link below and follow us on our social media. Thank you, everyone.
That's great. Thanks, Leila. Again, don't forget to use the chat function if you have any questions and we'll answer as best we can. I see Leila doing her advertising there for you, so well done. That's what it's all about. Now, our next contributor is Michaela Ferrando from Modos. Michaela, I know I saw you. Yep, there you are. Excellent. Hi.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Michaela Ferrando. I work with Norman and Mary and the rest of the team in economic development. I know I have just a few minutes, but I just want to say that every time that I attend the social enterprise events, there's always this amazing vibe of positivity and encouragement, and it is an absolutely fantastic network and community. So well done to all of you. In terms of why I'm here this evening, apart from enjoying the event, together with the Waste Regional Management Plan offices, we manage a circular economy program for micro, small and medium enterprises called Modus. You should see the logo behind me. And we do a number of things, including training, events, and raising awareness. So in terms of initiatives that could be interesting for the social enterprise community, between April and May, we will run a training course on circular economy in Dublin 8 for Dublin 8 businesses in a collaboration with the Digital Hub. And we will keep some places on the training course specifically for social enterprises, because we really want to highlight the link between the social economy and the circular economy and sustainability. If you're not geographically based in Dublin 8, nothing to worry about. There will be other dates available in the coming months for businesses within the Dublin region and outside the Dublin region. In the meantime, if you want to get into the circular economy thinking, tomorrow afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. we will run a sustainable packaging event as part of Local Enterprise Week. It is free to attend. Registrations are open until tomorrow morning, I think. So I will just pop into the chat the link for registration if you're interested. And last but not least, we thought that we could just grab the opportunity and use this fantastic platform to officially launch the Modus Mentoring and the Modus Innovation Award. The mentoring is free of charge, is circular economy mentoring. There is a limited number of places, so you should go on modus.ie, download the application and return it to us by the deadline, which is the 18th of March. And the mentoring will give you access to the Modus Innovation Award, and your circular economy projects could be rewarded with up to 2,500 euros. Again, there is a limited budget, it's 10,000 euros in total, but we really encourage you to participate. So I don't know if Mary McSweeney wants to say a few words about it, but in the meantime, I will just write down in the chat all contact details and all information in terms of where and how you can find us and how we can stay in touch. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thanks, Michaela. I don't know if you want to come in there, Mary. You've got the sort of mini shout out.
Thanks, mini shout out. Yeah, again, I suppose I spoke earlier about us being delighted to be part of the European economy of social regions, but it was the first time I'd heard a dialogue about how social economy and circular economy, there's huge opportunities when you combine the two. So just to echo what Michaela was saying about opportunities for any of the social enterprises here who are keen to explore circular economy and how that might expand their offering and their impact.
That's great. Thanks, Mary. So our next contributor is Roshin Lyons, my colleague from DCU. So Roshin, are you ready to take over? I'm pretty sure I saw Roshin earlier on. So.
I think Roshin was going to talk about the hackathons. She might have had to leave the call, but again, I think we might just send some information out in the follow-up email about the hackathons and how people can participate.
Yep, we'll do that. Actually, okay, so I was just going to, well, I've just sent a badly worded chat there. So if people want to come in, raise their hands, we can take a small number of shout outs between now and 8:30 before Norman cuts us off. Does anybody come in? Any brave volunteers with a shout out?
Yeah, Derek, I'll come in if Roger from the Rediscovery Centre.
Over to you, Roger.
I might need 2 minutes, but some people might already know of the Rediscovery Centre. Obviously, congratulations on a great event this evening. The Rediscovery Centre is the National Centre for the Circular Economy, and we do we have a huge interest in anything to do with developing and promoting the circular economy in Ireland. And a big thing for us is demonstrating, how we can kind of move more circular. And one of the ways we do that is through our 4 social enterprises: our furniture, fashion, bicycles, and paint social enterprises, where we take end of life materials or provide a new life to materials. And I suppose it just open up the door to anyone to, please come and chat to us. We very much love to hear from you. Thanks.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. It's great to hear things are going well in the Rediscovery Centre. So I'm going to hand over to Richard Dean from Pubble, if that's okay. Richard, you're in next.
Hi, Derek, how are you? Good evening, everybody. Just a quick shout out for some of the things the Pubble will be doing in this space in the coming weeks and months. We're still working out the details, but over the coming months, there will be some new funding opportunities for social enterprises and other not-for-profit. So pubble.ie and follow us at Pubble. And I've also put into the chat a useful link on helpful resources on grant application making and good governance tools that will be helpful in preparing for the funding opportunities that are coming down the road. And also for those that you are more locally based, do keep an eye and contact your local PsychApp implementer. The local development companies are doing great work all around the country, and PsychApp is a program administered by Pubble. Thank you.
I forgot to unpress mute. Probably not the first time this year. Richard, that's great. Thanks. So, guys, is there anybody else who wants to come in with a shout out? We've a few minutes left.
Hi, Derek. I'll come in there. Clodagh here.
Hi, Clodagh. Great to hear from you.
Great, thanks. Hi, I'm Clodagh. I'm on the board of the Irish Social Enterprise Network, and we mentioned Buy Social earlier, a directory for social enterprises that want to promote their sales, their products and services. So it is a free service. If you want to email hello@buysocial.ie, we would love to get you up on the directory so that corporates and public procurement will have no excuse but to buy from social enterprises. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Clodagh, and setting a great example about actually what the shout out could be. So anybody else want to come in? We've a few minutes left, not to harangue people.
Yeah,
sure.
I suppose.
I guess I'll get Oliver first, and then maybe Christine, if that's okay. So Oliver, you're okay?
Yeah. Okay, I just felt like it's going up to Dublin for the All-Ireland. I'm from down here in Kilrush in Clare, so in lieu of the All-Ireland. So just say it's nice to have the opportunity and to see some faces and see other activities. We ourselves have a social enterprise. We're offering social activities to older people, and we're trying to kind of make money out of them on that. So that would be our model, I suppose. And we do kind of outings and a bit of IT kind of coaching for people, which has become more important during this time. And of course, we are funded through Pobble from the Department of Community and Rural Development. So we're appreciative that the funding continued during this time. And we've also kind of, I suppose, gone into the Zoom meetings. So people are participating, some of them in various activities over that, social kind of gatherings and a singing group and a few other activities that we would hope maybe to continue even when we come back on. So, okay.
That's great. Thanks, Oliver. Okay, so Christine Costello is in next from CRNI, and then Liam.
Well, thank you so much. Hi, this is Christine Costello from CRNI, and thank you so much for such a fantastic event. And it's so lovely also to see some of our members on the call, like Recreate, of course, who just did a great presentation, and then Clodagh, who was there before, and the Rediscovery Center, and Recycle IT, and Mahel Roher. And what we are is a network of community-based reuse, repair, and recycling organizations. And we were really happy to see the discussion around social procurement. And we've done a lot of work in that space along with our members. And so if you go to our website, crni.ie, you'll be able to find a page on under Take Action. You'll see a whole section on green and social procurement. And we're really happy because we, along with our members, got to work on a project called with the National Waste Collection Permit Office. And that's a really good, tangible example of how green and social procurement can happen. And I see Recycle IT and also Rediscovery Center, our member, is on the line. And so we did that project, and so go to that page. And also we also have some good directories about procurement that would be helpful as well. So I'm so glad that this is happening. Thank you so much.
That's great. Thanks, Christine. We've 6 minutes left, so I have 2 speakers left to come in. Liam, and then we're going to hand back to Roshin, if that's okay. So Liam, you have your 2 minutes, and then we'll let Roshin shout us out.
Yeah, no problem. I got in by the skin of my teeth. I had to drop my girlfriend over to St. Vincent's Hospital, so I was racing back to get in time. Inter Sevens, we run 7-a-side soccer leagues in Dublin, and we've been going for over 10 years. So we have a lot of corporate teams from Google, LinkedIn, and that, but we also have a lot of just teams of friends that play. But like what separates us is we actually give our profits away. So over the periods through our leagues or tournaments, we've raised around 700,000. So we've been advised we should really get in contact with the different agencies that support these sort of things. So thanks to Ivan Kilmurray for kind of pushing us along in this area. So yeah, when the I suppose when COVID goes off, our leagues will start again. So we're always looking for any corporate teams to enter the leagues. So if there's anyone out there, you know, talk to your social committees. Our website is www.inter7s.com, and yeah, we're happy to chat to you and enter your teams.
That's great. Thanks, Liam. Okay, we're going to hand over to our final contributor and shouter-outer, Roshin Lyons from DCU. Hi, Roshin.
Hi, Derek. Sorry, you caught me on the hop for a minute. I was actually listening to a voice note of one of our students that has won an award in the social enterprise space, so it was really in line with what we were talking about today. Yeah, so my shout out is for our social innovation hackathons that are running in DCU, March 12th to 19th. First year students have had a year. These are the Leaving Cert students that, you know, didn't get their Leaving Cert somewhere, that haven't been to college yet, they haven't connected with industry, and they're all studying social innovation, social enterprise, and we want to make this year count for them. So we're organizing this massive virtual hackathon on a tool called GatherTown. It's really fun, it's really engaging, it's over the course of a week. We've built a beach, a park, we're going to have a parade on Paddy's Day, we've got it all. And we're looking for as much connection to industry as possible. So if you have an hour over the course of the week from the 12th to the 19th, send me an email. We'll slot you in at a time that works for you to judge, to mentor, to speak, generally just to show your support to this student group. We know that you're time sensitive at the moment, so we'll work around you, 1 hour maximum per industry guest. Yeah, and I think it's just such a lovely way of showing the enterprise community. I just read the Excel sheet of all of the comments that the students made for why social innovation is important, and it would absolutely melt your heart. So, so join in. Thanks, Derek.
That's great. Thanks, Roshin. I think that's the last shouter-outer. So I might hand back to Mary, and you can conclude with that panache.
Thank you very much, Derek, and to all of the shouter-outers. So it just leaves it for me to thank everybody involved, all of our great speakers this evening, all of the great facilitators of the discussions, the members of the Dublin City Social Enterprise Committee, to the Department of Rural and Community Development, and of course to the audience that have been absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen such an interactive chat function, and so much positivity and great sharing of information. And we'll try and pull together some of the key points in a follow-up email so that you'll all have captured some of the magic of the evening. So thanks again to everyone, and thank you so much for sharing 2 hours of your evening with us. And I hope you've all got at least one takeaway that will help on the next step of your journey. Thank you so much. Bye now.